Really,
Dude, before we go live, I know I have to wear this as a lost bet, but purple's just my favorite color.
you look good in it.
Thank you.
We would never say that though.
Just don't tell
to your
anybody, okay? If
fans.
you just keep that between us,
That could jeopardize your whole career.
honestly, but the brand. Oh, ladies and gentlemen, it is a Monday morning. Thank God this show is not earlier. Because, oh boy, I don't know if I would have been able to survive that one.
How late were you up, Tom?
The video came out, I think, 2 a.m. Eastern. I think that's what we did. Went to bed at around 3 a.m., so crushed it, rocking and rolling, but worth it because the Green Bay Packers getting that game winner, but we'll break that down because of the insanity. But folks, as if you watched Clickbait Sports this past week, I lost a bet and have to wear this son of a gun all week for all my regular videos. But I was like, you know what? We'll put it on for the stream. We'll put it on for the stream because there's nothing like just wearing disappointment on you just to start the day. I'm Tom Grossi. Frackin' right there is at Brandon Perna.
Yeah.
Ladies and gentlemen.
Always plugging my social media because I need attention so bad. I just can't live without it. A crazy weekend of games. There's the Packers right up there with one of the best finishes. To your credit, or to my credit, Tom, 37 seconds left. I'm on Twitter. I'm like, that is 38 seconds more than Aaron Rodgers even needs to win this game. I didn't doubt it for a second that the Packers were going to get back into field goal range. My only concern was how close are they going to get for Crosby to make the kick? So we'll get into that Packers-Niners game, the Justin Tucker record setter. 66. Oh my God, he is so clutch. Maybe the most clutch kicker in NFL history.
He's Hall of Fame.
Him Easy. And Adam V, we could debate that.
Oh, yeah.
Rookie quarterbacks across the board look deplorable. Woo! Yeah, they're all on bad teams, but they do not look good, except for Trey Lance, who just comes in for one play, scores a touchdown, and then leaves the game.
That's I want him to do that every game. I know he did it week 1, but I just want one play. Trey Lance, he just gets into the end zone. He's like, all right, I'm done. Thank you.
Yeah.
That's my time. Thank you.
We need to do a Trey Lance watch where we just need him to get to 10 touchdowns on the season. 10 touchdowns on 10 attempts, whether it's a rush or a pass. And then, they move on to him maybe as a starter next year. Although Jimmy G, he played well. He gave the 49ers a chance to win. You just got to take all the time off the clock these days. Well,
that's and again, we'll get into that. But I mean, if they fall down at the 1, they win that game, because then they basically have all the opportunities, they have their timeouts to just score. But thank you for not doing that, 49ers fan, because while I didn't bet on the game, I did pick them to win my Green Bay Packers. But if I wanted to bet on the game, where would I go, Brandon Perna? God, we are crushing this.
Would go outside and call a bookie.
Oh, okay.
Oh, no. You would do DraftKings.
Oh, we had one shot. DraftKings
Sportsbook. This is a legal disclaimer, so we don't get sued. Yeah.
Don't want to get sued.
Never want to get sued. DraftKings Sportsbook, code GPS. We got a link in the description. If you're putting action on the games, do it through DraftKings. Do it with our link or our code because DraftKings is giving you up to $1,000. They will match your deposit, your first deposit, up to $1,000 with our code. Also, new players, you're going to get a bonus of $200 in free bets instantly if you bet $1 on any football game with our code. Through DraftKings, you're doing same game parlays. You can bet on the overs, the unders,
the middles.
I thought Teddy Bridgewater would be a safe over bet on 1.5 touchdowns because he always throws 2.
Sure.
He threw 0 and the Broncos still won 26-0. But I said the under in that game. I was hard about the under. The total score was, I think the over under was like 42.5. So way under 42. I knew Jets Broncos, that was going to be a low scoring affair. So I continue my streak of losing and winning every other bet. If you try at DraftKings, please be better than me. I hope you win all of your bets, but you got to do it with code GPS. DraftKings, safe, secure, reliable. They take care of your money. You can deposit, withdraw at your convenience, and they support the show. So, you know.
At least for the next few days.
Yes.
We'll see after September ends.
We'll see. Did we do good, DraftKings? Did we do good by you?
Did we do good, Papa? We don't know. We don't know. Brandon Perna, there's so much to fracking talk. I don't know where my pen went, but there's so much to talk about. I'll kick it off and talk about the Green Bay mother-loving Packers because that game was insane.
Yeah.
Insane. And a common thread, if you will, if you were crocheting a knit sweater, perhaps, is the crappy officiating, which seems to have leaked into week 3. Oh, and it was leaking hard because they were pissing and crapping the bed last night in terms of officiating. It was horrendous. It was bad.
Yeah, I mean, I know the big missed call was the assault on Devontae Adams' face. I mean, look, one angle, it looks like, you know, the defender's trying to lead with his shoulder. I don't think it was an intentionally like dirty shot, but helmet to face contact was made at an alarming amount of force. With an alarming amount of force, no call.
And it's a defenseless receiver. At the end of the day, it's a defenseless receiver at the bare minimum. At minimum. And they're just like, well, no, like, well, hold on there. Was someone talking trash? Were they talking smack during this game? Because then we'll throw the flag. But
we had 2 taunting penalties in the Broncos game.
2
both bullshit. Yeah.
What happened? Did they start doing like patty cake? Or?
Literally both like guys going like this towards another guy, like a little side talking through the mouth, little like, screw you, buddy. We're besting your team. I think if you taunt in old timey talk, no penalty,
dude. I think like let's pull out some Shakespearean insult. Like I bite my thumb at you, sir. And like you like listen. We start bringing back thumb biting. I'm all about it. I think that literally I want to push that hard. I want thumb biting to return. Like that's gonna be the insult. They'll be like, "Do you bite your thumb at me, sir?" Like, let's go. Like I'm all for it. This is now.
I demand satisfaction.
That's it. Like I want to see Romeo and Juliet. You know, like let's get a little Mercutio in there. Like let's go. Let's fight them.
Yeah.
Mercutio. But what you have the Packers game besides a terrible officiating, an insane game, going down to literally the last second, in which the 49ers took the lead with less than a minute left in the game. Left for the first time. Left 37 seconds on the clock, and Aaron was like, dude, oh, I'm gonna make you cry. And he did.
My favorite part about that entire game was, all right, Aaron gets him into field goal range.
Yep.
He throws it into the middle of the field, which, you know, the announcer's like, the only thing they can't do is throw it to the middle of the field. I don't know if there'll be enough time out there. I don't know if there'll be enough time. The Packers run up there. Rodgers clocks the ball, turns to the sideline, and just goes, yeah. Like he already knew the game was over. I was like, whoa. If Mason Crosby misses it, Aaron Rodgers, this moment's going to look overconfident.
Oh, yeah.
But he knew Crosby was going to sink it. And right after he clocks it, he just knows. It was, I don't know. I just love it. I love everything about Aaron Rodgers.
Wait a minute.
Even though I'm not a Packers fan per se. I don't mind.
He doesn't care about football, Perna.
I want that kind of confidence in a QB. Now, Teddy Bridgewater's got a quiet confidence. Teddy throws a veil. But Trust me, I'm loving Teddy right now. I am loving Teddy. If he keeps playing the way he does, I'm not getting off the Teddy train. But Aaron Rodgers, man, that guy fucks.
My man, you're like right now, like you're watering your lawn and you're like looking over at your neighbor's lawn and you're like, damn, that's some nice landscaping.
Yeah.
I mean, like mine's fine too. Like the sod is coming in and, it's taking hold.
Yeah.
But damn, that's some nice landscaping.
Yeah. A lot of people are talking about fire Matt Nagy and the Bears. We will get to the Bears. Don't worry.
Don't you worry, child.
We're going to finish this Packers game because it was exciting.
Yeah. So I think a couple things from this game. One, and I know you noted this on Twitter, Matt LaFleur coming out in his press conference saying that he needs to be able to control his emotions because that man spiked that challenge flag. And he's like, look at it. Like he literally he was disciplining a dog in a very terrible way. He's like, put your nose in it.
Yeah.
You look at that challenge flag. You know what you did.
I disagree. He needs to keep that energy on the sideline. Like outside of him, the other coach everybody's talking about today is Sean McVay because he was so jacked on the sideline, so excited about everything.
Oh, yeah.
I thought Matt LaFleur was going to at first throw the challenge flag at the ref's face. I think he literally thought about that before he stepped in front of the ref and then threw it.
He's like, taunt that, asshole.
Yeah. I think he needs to keep that intensity because
I do too.
I think Aaron Rodgers appreciates it.
Oh, yeah.
And I think if he's got a coach on the sideline matching his sort of gravitas, I don't know if that's the right word to use because I'm stupid, but maybe Rodgers goes back to the Packers after this season. Who knows?
I mean, listen, he loves his coaching staff. It's just the people that are in the front office. But yeah, Packers now sitting atop the NFC North as the Vikings were the only other team to get a victory yesterday against the Seahawks. And damn.
I saw a great meme yesterday that was like, nobody's talking about the Seahawks losing because the Chiefs lost today.
That's accurate. Honestly, that's 100% accurate. Yeah, which game should we stay with the North or should we go over to the AFC West? And we'll just do a little tit for tat and just do a little tango. Because
AFC
buddy,
West.
Yeah, I know you're happy about the Broncos, but no one's talking about the Broncos because they destroyed the Jets as they should have. Yeah. The big game that they're all talking about is the LA Chargers and the Kansas City Chiefs. Mr. Brandon Perna, what happened in that game?
Well, you see, the Kansas City Chiefs, they have a quarterback. His name is Patrick Mahomes.
Oh.
He's been very good. But
heard of him.
This mother licker decided to throw a no-look pass for no reason in this game. Throws it to the wrong team. So when I'm talking about Aaron Rodgers spiking the ball, celebrating before the game's over, if Mason Crosby missed, the equivalent is Patrick Mahomes no-look passing, throwing to the other team. So the Chiefs turned the ball over 4 times in this game, 3 times in the first half. The Chargers get 2 touchdowns, I think, off of those first 3. Didn't even fully capitalize. The Chargers melted down at the end of that game, as they always do.
Yeah.
Chiefs erase a lead. We know they can score a lot of points quickly. But here's the thing. The Chiefs choked. Oh, they choked and they let the Chargers win. It's just like right now, there's something happening with the Chiefs. Their defense, a little suspect. But also,
buddy, Sherlock Holmes can't figure out that case. That's bad.
If you follow the AFC West closely, and the Chiefs have dominated the last 4 or 5 years, one thing people point to every year is the Chiefs, Patrick Mahomes, a lot of his bad throws, his interceptions are dropped by the opposing defense.
That is true.
It's been a weird narrative. And I defend the Chiefs there. I'm like, who cares? I'm sure you could look at every quarterback through every game and say, oh yeah, the defense dropped a pick there. There's but right now those things aren't going the Chiefs' way. Clyde Edwards-Helaire fumbled again. You saw Tyreek Hill fumble. Their playmakers are making mistakes, and I'm not saying it's going to happen every week, but they're not good enough right now to overcome those things.
Well, I think, when you have a bad defense, which they do, like let's call a spade this year so far in the small sample size that we have, and we've talked about it on this show last week and talked about how poorly the Chiefs defense was doing. It's okay if you have an offense that is playing mistake-free football and they're able to go and pull out those miraculous wins and everything, right? But yesterday, mistakes were made on both sides of the ball, and it was on the offense, and Mahomes making some questionable things. He obviously had some fumbles going, the wrong way. And because of that, like, it just makes it look better. Because the Chargers at one point were like, no, you win the game. Here. Like, we got our lead. We scored our points. We're good. We hit the Chargers, over, guys. We're okay now. We're good.
We're contractually obligated to let you try to win at the very end.
Now, real quick, before we jump into these stats, what I noticed is because the Chargers, they jumped out to that early lead, right? And then they wound up blowing the lead. It was very similar to what the Bills were doing with the Washington football team, because they were up 21-0. And then all of a sudden, you had Gibson, who came on back with like a really great play. You had Taylor Heineke come in and like he ran and like did a diving play. And I was like, oh crap, like, are they going to blow this? But then the Bills were like, haha, just kidding. We're going to kill you now.
Yeah.
And the Chargers never did that, but they like did just enough. And there were enough mistakes that they were like, okay, we can go and actually win that, which those Chargers were losing those games 10 out of 10 times last season.
Oh yeah. The Chargers had another touchdown called back because of an illegal shift.
Yes.
Like that's just who they are. I don't know when they're going to outgrow those mistakes, but it happened. Chiefs, you can see their passing defense, giving up yards, giving up touchdowns. I think the real issue though is the Chiefs rushing defense.
Oh boy.
What are those rush yards they've given up? Second worst in the league. Look, the Chargers are right next to them. Most rushing yards allowed. We are on defense. Yeah. The Chiefs, though, 7 rushing touchdowns. So that's the issue for Kansas City. I trust their offense to get right. Maybe they need a dynamic receiving threat outside of Kelsey and Tyreek Hill. 2 guys is great, but maybe they just need another option there. They've yet to really find that guy.
Because Sammy Watkins used to be that guy, right? And like he would have like those games where he would do nothing, and then he'd have those games where he like breaks out and like
really, nothing really well for 6 weeks, and then he's got like 100 yards and 2 touchdowns.
Well, I mean, you mentioned this too. Like they have no run game right now outside of Patrick Mahomes. Like that's the issue. And you look at some of these teams. You look at both teams who were in the Super Bowl, right? You look at the Buccaneers and you look at the Chiefs. Neither of them have run games at all. Right now.
Tom Brady was the Bucs' leading rusher yesterday.
Oh no!
14 rushing yards for Brady, and I think it was 14. But he was the Bucs' leading rusher.
Oh no!
Yeah. And the Bucs are giving up more passing yards than any defense right now. So Tampa Bay, not perfect. The Rams beat them steadily. You mentioned the Bills real quick, and Josh Allen and that offense clicked finally. It took 3 weeks.
You called it, by the way. You called it.
He is back to clicking.
You called it.
Emmanuel Sanders looked good. A couple touchdowns for the Bills. Love seeing Emmanuel Sanders succeed there.
Oh yeah.
In Buffalo. I think I think like Josh Allen found he's a reliable receiver to have in tough situations. So high on the Bills. The Browns destroyed the Bears. We can get into the Bears a little bit.
Let's do that, because speaking of destruction, let's talk about the Bears. Yeah, we'll talk about the Colts Titans too. Don't you worry. We'll talk about the Colts Titans.
Norse Archaeologist Does Things. Great name.
Yeah, it is a great name. Well, which, by the way, yesterday made my bet with Scooter look real bad. But, the Bears.
Matt Nagy. I predicted he'd be the first coach fired before the season starts, and I might be right.
I mean, listen, Matt Nagy has got an opportunity after opportunity, and I mean, talk about a guy who ruins QBs. And it's not just him. Don't get me wrong. A lot of it's his terrible play calling. It hasn't improved, folks. It hasn't gotten better.
No.
They ran a lot with David Montgomery last year, which was good. They finally needed to do that, but it hasn't gotten better. Their offensive line is garbage. And this is, Bears fans, I'm going to talk to you, directly to you for a moment. I'm going to talk to you. Heading into this season, everybody and their mother in Chicago was hyping up Justin Fields. They were hyping him up, and they were like, oh, he's going to be the second coming of Jesus Christ. And I was like, oh, okay. And listen, I will be very honest. I think Justin Fields has all the potential to be a very good QB. I think he definitely can. I think he can. However, things started going real wrong when Tevin Jenkins, their guy who I would have loved the Packers to draft, offensive lineman, he's out. He gets hurt. And I was like, okay, well,
the Brett Coleman curse
that you just had along that O-line just went in the toilet. That's gone now. And, you know, you got your Andy Dalton starting. And how many people, Perna, how many Bears fans were praising when Andy Dalton got injured? And they were like, oh, now we get to see Justin Fields. At long last, we get to see him. But you forgot one thing. Maybe two things. One, Matt Nagy's your head coach. And two, you're still behind a garbage offensive line. He had 6 completions, 6 for 20 for 68 yards. He got sacked 9 times for 67 yards. Yeah. He had a net gain of 1.
1 yard of passing off. Here's what's crazy about this game, too. The first half, it was close.
It was.
The Browns went into halftime after a nice touchdown drive. They were up 10-3, I think, heading into halftime. The game was tied 3-3 for most of the game.
It was.
I just saw on NFL Network there was a couple kids wearing Justin Fields jerseys, and then they took them off to reveal Browns gear underneath.
That's phenomenal.
Nice.
I play both sides, so I always come out on top.
Yeah. Here's a recipe.
By the way, we hit 2,000 viewers, baby.
Oh, yeah, we crossed 2,000.
We hit that too, baby. Woo!
That's what we're talking about, pornographers and Grossi Posse Tommunism.
Let's get it.
We love it. We can coexist. Here's the thing. Bad offensive line play, inability to run the football, and shitty head coach. That will destroy a young quarterback. Nothing will destroy them more quickly. Whoa. You two are the Unus Anus of sports?
It's Unus Anus. That was a YouTube channel was around for like a year, and then they deleted all their videos.
Oh, which we will definitely have to do.
That was a pop culture. It's a compliment.
Wow.
It wasn't. You see anus, and you're like, oh no, that's someone's calling me an anus again. But
yeah, I get called the anus a lot on the internet. This guy is anus.
Speaking of anus, talking about Justin Fields and that offensive line. A lot of people are real quick also saying that Justin Fields is a bust. And I was like, nah.
All the rookies are busts right now.
All of them are bad. But like, that's the thing. Like,
they're supposed to look bad.
What was it, 4.5? Garrett had 4.5 sacks, which was a franchise record. Like, no good, any QB, even if you're Aaron Rodgers, is not going to have a good game if he gets sacked 9 times.
Yeah. Here's the other thing. Here's the real criticism of Matt Nagy. I don't think he knows how to call a game and tool it to the strength of his quarterback. All right. The Bears looked better with Andy Dalton. They really did, because I think Matt Nagy needs a veteran QB or a good QB to carry him as a coach. And this happened with the Broncos last year with Pat Shurmur. He's a horrible fit for a young guy like Drew Lock, because I don't think he can change how he's calling the game to help him. So Justin Fields, when I'm looking at this game, one, they're not doing any sort of designed rollouts for him. They're trying to ask him to be in the friggin' pocket and pass that way. And Myles Garrett, that's like what he said. He's like, we're surprised they didn't do more rollouts.
Yep.
Like we do with our quarterback, Baker Mayfield, because we got a good head coach in Kevin Stefanski, who knows how to game plan for a quarterback who may make some mistakes without that guidance.
Dude. Okay. I'm not gonna lecture here. I'm gonna lecture a little bit, just like a little bit here. But I said this when they had Mitch Trubisky,
right?
Because when they go to the wild card and you have the double doink, right? How are they so successful that year? The defense is really good, which the defense has taken a little bit of a step back for the Bears.
Yeah, for sure.
Right?
But it's
a step back. But Trubisky had a strong run game. There was designed runs because Trubisky can move. And, oh, man, look, they were successful. What happened the next year? Oh no, Mitch, let's keep you in the pocket. Let's not give the ball to David Montgomery. Let's not run it a whole lot. And look, they sucked. A good head coach, regardless of who your QB is going to put those players in the best possible position to succeed. That's it. That's your primary job. And Matt Nagy is very bad at his job doing that. Sorry.
Matt Nagy, future manager of McDonald's. This is the stat that should scare Bears fans about Matt Nagy.
Prescott.
Justin Fields, 12 rushing yards. The dude is athletically gifted. He is fast. We saw it in the preseason, and we saw it even when he kind of came in a little bit for Dalton. And when they used Justin Fields, week 1 to rush for a touchdown, like, design some easy one read. If it's not there, run the football.
Yep.
There's a guy named Lamar Jackson who is feasting in year 4 on this style. And I'm not saying Justin Fields is Lamar Jackson, but I'm saying you can take advantage of that. And maybe they do it next week. But like the Browns, they won this game, 26-6. So it's similar to the Broncos, in my opinion, where the Broncos are getting a lot of grief because they haven't beaten good teams.
Sure.
Even as they shut out the Jets, they're like, yeah, but the Jets suck.
Yeah.
What about the Browns who just did the same thing to the Bears? And everybody's like, the Browns are back, baby. The Broncos had 5 sacks yesterday. I know it's not 9, but Zach Wilson, he's in game 3, so he's got a little more starting experience than Justin Fields.
Yeah,
he played a little smarter football than Justin Fields. And Justin Fields was bad. Like, he's got a lot he needs to improve on as well. It's not all on Matt Nagy, but
I mean, here's the thing, Perna, too. Like, and then we'll move on from this game. But it's basically saying, like, hey, we want you to be a pocket passer. Fine, which is fine. Be a pocket passer. But you have to have a pocket in order to be a pocket passer. And if your offensive line is like just like, oh yeah, like you know that gif that's always out there of like that terrible security guard who's like patting people down, like letting them in. And he's like, no. That's what the Bears' offensive line was yesterday. So yeah, that's great. You want him to stay in the pocket, but if there's nothing there, if the house is collapsing every single play, then maybe you don't. Then maybe you don't do that and you adjust it just a smidge.
Yeah. There was one play in the game, though. It was like, I heard the announcers go, Justin Fields has the pocket. Oh, no, he runs away from the pocket. So, Justin Fields, like these like rookie quarterbacks, they all look bad right now. And that's kind of how the NFL was for a very long time. Like, your rookie quarterbacks are going to look like shit. They need time to develop. All of these guys need some time. But then, like, you had guys come in and start just playing great football right away, and people started to expect that. I mean, even Josh Allen, like, it took 3 years for him to get where he is now. But nobody was after one season saying, let's fire Sean McDermott. They believed in McDermott because he got the Bills to the postseason with Tyrod Taylor as their quarterback. A great defense. They were playing, efficient football. The Bears' problem is nobody believes in Matt Nagy. The Jags' problem with right now with Urban Meyer and Trevor Lawrence, nobody's sure if Urban Meyer's cut out to coach in the NFL. The Jets have an edge here with Robert Saleh. I think people think he's a good coach, and
with the team around him, it's rough. It's still developing. Like, they're still getting guys in. They don't have a run game. Like and you mentioned this. Like, you look at the successful rookie QBs, like Patrick Mahomes. He's sitting behind Alex Smith and all that great stuff. That's why I always like sitting, but. You look at like Dak Prescott. Look how successful he was because he had an incredible offensive line. Yeah. And he had Zeke to hand the ball off to. So like you have to support.
Back when Zeke was good.
It's true. Like you have to support like these rookie QBs because like they're gonna learn some bad habits like real quick. And Joe Burrow even last year, like he came out and play and then he got hurt obviously behind it. But Conman mentioned a great little statistic here. That I saw yesterday on the Twitters as well. Staying in the NFC North for a hot second, Justin Tucker's 66-yard field goal was 17 yards longer than all the yards the Bears offense had yesterday. And I love that stat so much. And I had a similar stat to last night because we had a 42-yard drive. And the Bears had like 47. So I love it.
Yeah, here's the thing with these rookie quarterbacks. Look, Fields, he's got a 40% completion percentage. Trevor Lawrence, 54. Zach Wilson, 55. Tua, he got hurt early, right?
Yeah, he's on IR now.
Jacoby Brissett looked very good, and Dolphins fans are like, is every backup quarterback better than Tua?
Fitzpatrick is just shaking his head somewhere.
Yeah. Davis Mills, look, in his first start, I thought he actually might have played the best, but he was pulverized by the Panthers all game. Like, you know, we already kind of talked about that, but there's other issue. Trevor Lawrence and Zach Wilson leading the league in interceptions right now. 7 each. That's not good. It's what you expect with rookie QBs. So, like, are all the rookie QBs busts? At the moment, of course they are, but their expectations are too high.
They're way too high.
And you got to give them time to cook. These guys are in the oven like little babies, and they need 9 months to develop.
Why? Oh, okay. I was like, why are you putting babies in the oven? Got it. Understood. Well, in terms of...
To answer your question.
Ian Rappaport, like that trade that came out this morning, that the Jaguars are getting rid of CJ Henderson, which, by the way, I called in a reaction video saying they're like, oh, we drafted a corner, we'll trade him in a couple of years, which they did. It didn't even take a couple of years. But they are trading CJ Henderson, the former first round pick, and a 5th rounder, and they are getting Carolina's tight end Dan Arnold. Not going to have any more Darnold to Arnold connection, which is sad, and a 3rd round pick. So getting a tight end for Lawrence to throw to. But yeah, the Jaguars, buddy, they're
bad.
They're a bad football team.
Where's Mac Jones? Okay, Mac Jones, 2 touchdowns, 3 picks.
He looked bad yesterday.
He looked horrible yesterday, but you trust Mac Jones probably more than these other QBs right now because he plays for the Patriots.
Yep.
And the Patriots actually don't look very good. I don't think the Patriots are very good.
They did not look good yesterday. And I will say, the usage of Adele to hype up the Patriots, but I legitimately busted out laughing because that they are going to, the Patriots could look like absolute crap. And like Bill Belichick can like retire tomorrow and they'll still hype up that game to like, there's no joke. If you go on, I think it was like on StubHub, it might even been on Ticketmaster, and look for front row seats on the Patriots bench, like right outside, they're going for $10,000, $10,000 on a regular season game. I'm like, buddy.
Wow. I mean, if I'm a Pats fan, I don't want to go to that game. I don't want to watch the quarterback who we let go only so he could win a Super Bowl with a different team come back and probably beat the piss out of my Patriots. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, think of it like, has Bill Belichick been game planning on how to beat Tom Brady for
since honestly, while he was still on the team? I would not. Bill Belichick is probably like 3 years ago. He's probably just like,
if I ever played against Tom Brady, this is how I'd beat him.
It's like when you train a superhero and you're just like, you know what? In case this superhero turns against us, like we got to have a contingency plan to kill him. And I feel like that's what Bill Belichick is. Like he's going to send out all out blitzes, like every single play.
Yeah,
like we're gonna rock you.
Look, that's how you beat Brady, and that's the Rams. In that game, they sacked Tom 3 times.
They did.
So he probably felt the most uncomfortable, the most rattled he's felt in a while.
Yeah.
Matthew Stafford was just perfect. He's my dark horse MVP. So I predicted Josh Allen would win MVP this year. And I was like, I made a comment about, if Matt Stafford doesn't get it. 4 touchdowns for Stafford last night, 0 picks. Over 300 passing yards. Him and Josh Allen basically had the best passing days of any QBs in the league yesterday. Russell Wilson still has like...
Sorry, real quick, Brandon Perna, who did well?
Oh, yeah, Cooper Kupp.
Thank you. Because
I almost tweeted out a picture, and then I realized it was kind of your joke about the cup. But I was just going to put a cup alone in a space and be like, this is this lonely cup where nobody's covering it. is the best representation I can give of Cooper Kupp.
I did lose a bet, by the way. Yes. So I think that if you do that and then like you make just like a quick video and you can turn it into a GIF and you just like take a picture and you just pour it until it runneth over and it's just like leaking out the sides and you just post it with no context when Cooper Kupp does something.
Oh, that's great.
That's
should
money.
do that.
That's money right there.
Somebody saying Kirk Cousins for MVP.
Listen, I had a lot of Vikings fans up in my chat last night saying, hey, Kirk Cousins looking pretty good. He played pretty good against the Seahawks right there. Come on.
Yeah, here's what I'll shout out Kirk Cousins for.
Not getting COVID yet.
No COVID, no interceptions. What happens first? Cousins gets COVID or Cousins throws a pick?
Is that a prop bet on DraftKings?
You read my mind. DraftKings Sportsbook. I don't think they're doing COVID bets, and I don't even think legally we can say that. But Kirk Cousins has yet to throw an interception. Maybe there's a season prop on Kirk Cousins over under for picks. He's playing safe, efficient football. Use code GPS when you're signing up at DraftKings Sportsbook. We got a link in the description for your convenience. And again, DraftKings is giving all new players a deposit bonus of up to $1,000 with their first deposit when you use code GPS. So head to the DraftKings Sportsbook app now. Check out all they have to offer, including same-game parlays, player props, live betting, and so much more. And DraftKings is giving new customers $200 in free bets. Free bets. So that's in addition to your deposit, but you get free bets when you place a $1 bet on any football game. I would suggest taking it on a game, one team's going to win, like the Broncos every week, 3-0, baby.
Yeah.
Or hell, even the Raiders at this point. Good God.
Dude. What's happening?
I can tell you why I'm not impressed by the Raiders, because I want to piss off Raiders fans. But DraftKings Sportsbook, if it's not available in your state, they have fantasy bets. You can do the fantasy app. You can play the tier league, put your fantasy rosters together. You know how daily fantasy works. DraftKings Sportsbook, code GPS, link below. Insane.
Listen,
emo.
I like your hair like that. You're looking like a little like Spider-Man 3 emo Peter Parker. Like I dig it. You just go.
Oh yeah, Spider-Man.
Speaking of the Denver Broncos, because I think they're going to start getting a little bit more, I don't want to say criticized, but I feel like a little bit more under a microscope because their next 4 games are not a walk in the park.
I'll say the Steelers game is.
Oh, yeah. Well, yeah. We can talk about that game and talk about the glory and greatness.
The Bungles. Look at
Kitty
that.
goes meow.
Legend.
Kitty goes meow. KGM taking a big old dump right on the Steelers. And boy, oh boy, there was no litter there. They did not absorb that smell. The Steelers looked awful. Najee Harris had a nice game. But besides that, awful. Didn't have TJ Watt, but then again, we also didn't have our first 2 left tackles. We didn't have Zadarius Smith, so come on. Just saying. But again, the Steelers
clickbait looks bad.
Is gonna be rough.
Big Ben looked bad, Ben. There's this play in that game where Ben's like trying to roll and throw the ball and he just fucking eats it, whiffs, falls on his face. The Steelers without TJ Watt, they are not good. Defensively, they're getting exposed. Their secondary still, I thought maybe they improved their secondary in the offseason, but they really didn't, Tom. There's holes on that team. Offensive line, not what it used to be.
Yep.
The receivers, maybe just a little overrated. I think Deontay Spencer got injured. So, there's...
Well, it's like we talked about, right? If you have a good defensive front, that hides a lot of the problems of your secondary. And that's what, with the Cardinals, that week 1, that's exactly what happened. Chandler Jones was a monster, getting 5 sacks. And then, what has happened, you've seen, at points, the Cardinals defense getting kind of torn up a bit. And I feel like when you look at the Steelers, when you don't have a guy like TJ Watt, who is a game changer, he is a guy that you have to scheme around, and he's probably going to play, I would assume so, against the Packers next week. I'm like, all right, that's rough. But Yeah, that offense looks anemic. And Najee Harris, again, had his first like breakout game, if you will. Did look pretty good. But other than that, there was like nothing there. And Big Ben.
Here's the alarming stat for Steelers fans and your defense. Right now, what have the Steelers done very well the last 2 seasons? They have sacked the quarterback at a very high rate. I think they led the league the last 2 seasons.
Yeah.
Right now, you see them? They're sitting down here, just 5 sacks through 3 games. Double checking, making sure I'm on defense. But just 5 sacks through 3 games. So that is not good. They're not getting those sort of game-stopping plays. Their offense not helping them out. But look at Scooter's team. Just 2 sacks for the Cowboys. They're a game behind. But the Buccaneers, just 3 sacks.
Yep.
That's kind of crazy.
So who has the most sacks right now?
Oh. That's the Carolina Panthers.
Oh.
And of course the Browns after yesterday.
Yeah, even though the Browns like literally are just like, hey, we had 9 yesterday. So
they had without that 9-sack game.
They're the 3.
Yeah, so they're an outlier. But look Chicago. We've ripped Chicago offensively, but their defense has been all right so far this season. Like we said, not what it was.
Their secondary,
playoffs, but
is suspect.
And obviously, like sacks, that's just one stat. But
yeah,
the week before, I thought the Bears defense played well. Cardinals kind of fading in the sack race after that week 1 dominant performance. Yep. Cardinals struggled with the Jaguars Broncos. Oh, they haven't beaten anybody. They beat the pants off of Jacksonville. All right. The Cardinals, who everybody loves to call a great team, they struggled with Jacksonville until they ran away with it. Of course, Matt Prater attempts a 68-yard field goal, and he gets taken to the house by Jamal Agnew, which the Jags did do that to the Broncos as well. They did return a kick for a touchdown. So it's just competition. Bad teams can play well. Yes, I know the Broncos haven't beaten anybody, but everyone they have beaten, they got the job done. All right. And they play the Ravens this week. I'll save my power rankings, my Broncos predictions for later.
And you'll curse up. I do want to mention about the Detroit Lions for a hot second.
Oh, yeah.
Just to kind of like talk about how bad yesterday was for them. Okay. So 1, going into that Jaguars Cardinals game, you had Matt Prater, former Lions kicker, miss a record-setting field goal, right?
To another former Lion.
Yup. Who then returns it, Jamal Agnew, returns it and makes history with a 109-yard TD.
Yeah.
And then Justin Tucker, and I know there's like a delay of game like controversy that's going on right now that said 2 seconds expired off the clock, that they should have called it. But and then Justin Tucker doinks it. It hits off the crossbar and bounces in for them to lose the game. Like, if you're a Detroit Lions fan, like, I imagine you just go out into a field, you drop down to your knees, and you go, God, why? And you know what? God might even be like, bro, like, I didn't even do this one. Like, I don't even know. Like, I let you guys take the lead. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
Because, no, God's like, sorry, I've literally forgotten about you.
Only forget. Gone. Just, I'm so sorry. Like, the watchmaker theory to a million. It was bad. It was bad. And I feel bad for Lions. I know they don't want my pity because I have this in the rundown. Like, and I want to get your take on this. Like, are the Lions better than what their record is? They're 0-3 now. And I feel like the answer is yes. Like, they came back. I know you and I disagreed about that. They came back a bit against the Niners. They had a really good, solid first half against the Packers, and then things like went away. And then they were beating the Ravens. Like they clawed back literally because meow, but they clawed back and they were beating the Ravens. And then it's literally off a miracle from Justin Tucker. So like,
yeah. Dude, did I say the Lions were a sleeper team or didn't I?
You did. That is 100% accurate.
I almost tweeted yesterday that the Lions play one really good half of football and then they lose.
Yeah.
And they were kind of playing a really good half of football against the Ravens. And then the Ravens, towards the end of the first half, I'm pretty sure they took the lead, but they also missed on some opportunities.
Oh, dude. Hollywood Brown dropped touchdown after touchdown.
Yeah.
It could have been a blowout.
That's the thing.
Yeah.
I want to, and Dan Campbell basically said, good teams are built under pressure.
Yeah.
And we are living under pressure right now. I think we'll eventually be stronger from this. But also, I just don't think Jared Goff's a very good quarterback.
Yeah.
Without help around him and without a good head coach. So, you throw Jared Goff onto the Bears with Matt Nagy.
Oh, he dies.
He's dead.
He's died. He legit dies. Yeah.
You have a funeral for him. The Lions need a quarter. They need a lot of things, but
yeah,
I think they're a little bit better than people are giving them credit for. If you're looking at the bottom tier teams, you're talking about the Jags, you're talking about the Jets, you're probably talking about the Bears right now. I think the Lions are a little bit better than those guys. If the Lions played those teams, I think the Lions win. And they've played against better competition. But I have confidence that they did keep that game close to the Ravens.
Yeah.
That my Broncos got a good chance to beat the Baltimore Ravens. And the Ravens are a weird team.
They are a weird team.
I don't know what to make of Baltimore because they lost to the Raiders week 1.
They did. A crazy game.
Yeah, we've talked about the Chargers giving games away. Both the Ravens and Raiders just kept giving that game away to each other.
Yeah. They're no, you win. No, you win.
Yeah. And then they get a win. They beat the Chiefs, right? Week 2.
They did.
And then they barely beat the Lions. So it's who are the are the Ravens just going to be close in every matchup?
Yeah.
I need to see them dominate a team, but I don't think that's going to happen. Their defense isn't what it used to be.
I can't even quote them anymore. It's just,
Edgar Allan Poe.
That's the one. There it is, buddy. We got it. It was tough. There was some steam, but we got there. That was the important thing.
Sorry, in terms of speeches, I've been looking up a lot of Teddy Roosevelt stuff. So my mind is on Teddy and the Rough Riders.
You did talk about the Raiders for a hot second, and that game going into overtime. The Dolphins driving down the field. Jacoby Brissett's like, I got this, fam. And I was like, ooh, look what's going on here. I mean, they wind up losing that game. They lost. But now the Raiders have had 2 overtime games.
Yeah.
But honestly, they're winning. They're 3-0. At the end of the day, I think you were talking about this on Twitter, unless it was a mirage that I saw. But people are like, oh, the Broncos haven't played anybody. It doesn't matter. At the end of the day, 1, you can't blame them for who they're actually playing. But 2, they're 3-0. And later on in the season, the fact that they got off to a 3-0 start is going to help tremendously. Yeah. The teams winning right now, those are going to have playoff implications. So,
and guess what? It's the AFC West, all the AFC West teams, they're going to play the same shitty teams.
Yeah.
That's part of how the schedule works. It's going to balance out. The Raiders, the fans, they're the first ones to chime in and say the Broncos haven't beaten anybody.
Sure.
Chiefs fans would have been there had they won yesterday, but they're
in the basement
getting a little
now.
Quiet.
Yeah, it's just
a little quiet in the comments. Raiders fans,
hear me?
They're getting cocky, which I appreciate because as Broncos fans, we're getting a little over cocky too. But who have you really beaten? Las Vegas. There's a stat the Raiders are the first team to go 3-0 to beat 3 teams that were 10+ win teams last year. That was last friggin' year. You beat the Dolphins, who look like a bad team. All right. The Dolphins were shut out the week before. I'm not getting too excited about your win over the Dolphins. Who did the Raiders beat the week before? I'll find this. Hold on.
Dude, I'm just thinking about in 3 weeks, that game between you and the Raiders, there's going to be blood.
Oh, man.
It's going to be It's going to be rough.
Oh, yeah, the Steelers. The Raiders beat the Steelers.
They beat the Steelers.
At the time, you're like, okay, decent win. The Steelers suck. The Steelers.
And the Bengals are like, hold my kitty.
Yeah, the Bengals just beat the Steelers. Like, sure, the Raiders have played a little bit better competition than the Broncos. I'll give them that.
They have.
But Raiders choked last year. At least the Broncos started off crappy last year and maintained that level of crappiness. This is a different team. You know what? Okay, here's something I wanted to bring up.
My man coming in with stats.
I'm going to stats. You're correct, Tom. Because old Derek Carr here, leading the league in passing with 1,200 yards.
Yep.
Wow. Just 6 touchdowns, though. 2 interceptions. Teddy Bridgewater. Where's Teddy? 827 yards, 4 TDs, 0 picks. Not turning any heads, but not turning it over. Okay. Raiders have a problem running the ball as well. Maybe that changes when Josh Jacobs comes back. That's going to be the real X factor for the Raiders. If they want to, if they want to be a really good team, when Josh Jacobs gets healthy,
dude,
they can run the ball effectively. Then I'm going to be scared because their defense is actually better. They can get after the pass rush or the passer. So like, if I'm like just dialing them back here from the Broncos bias, that's what would scare me about the Raiders if they can run the ball effectively. So.
You know, I'm just gonna say this: if the AFC West comes down to the Broncos and the Raiders, just bliss, bliss. I mean, like it would just be like right now. I can't wait to do the AFC West reaction video this week because like the Chiefs losing back-to-back games. Like there's some existential crisis going on right now. There's I'm looking at the man in the mirror and I don't recognize that face. It's 1 and 2.
Here is great because the Raiders play the Chargers this week, Monday Night Football. So we'll find out which team's legit.
Yep.
Raiders overperforming maybe just a hair. Chargers underperforming maybe.
Considering
just a hair.
Both teams don't want to win, I think that I know there's no double overtime, but like that might end in a tie.
I was just gonna say guaranteed overtime that game.
It's like no, the Chargers will get off to an early start. They'll go up like 21-3, and then they'll work their way back, and then it'll just go into overtime and end in a tie.
Here's what I want for the AFC West. All right, Broncos fans, Raiders fans, Chargers fans, we can all agree it is so nice to see those Chiefs at the bottom of the division. Keep the Chiefs at the bottom, all right? I don't care. I mean, I want the Broncos to finish first, but if the end of the season the Chiefs are in dead last, dude, I think that's a win for the AFC West.
That's the entire AFC is just going to be like, huh, this is a good year.
That's all right. Except then the Chiefs get a good draft pick, and we'll see if they mess that up.
Yeah, I mean, where do you even address it? Do you go back offensive line? What have you? But there is a Monday night game tonight, which definitely has lost some luster because the Cowboys won last week. If they didn't win last week against the Chargers, then I would have been the happiest person in the history of the world. But you got the Philadelphia Eagles taking on the Dallas Cowboys. This should actually be a fun game. I think this could be a good game, in which I think Jalen Hurts has potential to do some runny runs. And, Dak Prescott, is he going to not suck today? That Saquon Barkley finally pulled his head out of his ass and was like, oh, I can run the ball again. Actually getting me some fantasy points. But, oh, by the way, I'm so sorry, 5. Speaking of terrible teams, we didn't even talk about the Giants. Plus a game-winning. I don't know if you saw that on Twitter. But they were talking about like there was people in the press box for the Giants-Falcons game, and they heard like a big commotion like after the field goal went in, and it, like near the owner's box and like where the GM sits and all that stuff, and all the garbage cans were knocked over.
Yeah, no, it's where it was in the owner's box where John Mara, the guy who was most vocal about supporting the taunting rule. And then John Mara also got booed at Eli Manning's halftime ceremony.
Yep.
So they're honoring Eli Manning, and Giants fans boo their owner. I like to think they weren't booing him. They were taunting him. So Giants, I feel bad for Giants fans. Jets fans, like New York, you better get behind the Bills because all your other football teams suck.
Listen,
go
I
Bills.
feel no sympathy. I'm so glad the East. I mean, Springsteen, I got hit by a car already. It's done. Like it's rough. It's rough going right now for the Giants and the Jets, but it is what it is. I mean, you have the Cowboys, Eagles tonight. I actually picked the Eagles to win, even though I think the Cowboys are going to win, but I can't in good faith like pick the Cowboys.
Jalen Hurts, leading passer and rusher. Wow.
He's like, it's all right. I'll do it myself. That's cool, guys. Thanks.
Here's what I think the Cowboys need to do. They need to get Tony Pollard even more involved in the game.
Oh,
so they did that
actually,
week 2. The carry percentage went up for Tony Pollard. It's just 16 rushes, which makes his 7.7 yards per carry ridiculous.
That's
right.
Tristan, good call. So even if they
Orlando Brown.
My gosh.
Orlando Brown. Chiefs are going to help the Ravens get their next playmaker. Ravens need a receiver not named Hollywood Brown.
Oh man. I forgot about that. Oh, that's great. That's great.
Thank you, Chiefs.
Listen, all I want to say here real quick is that if the Cowboys lose, it will only be Brandon Perna and I who will have winning teams on Clickbait this Thursday. And I promise you, we will be insufferable.
Oh, yes,
insufferable.
See, this is a good game to determine if the Cowboys are legitimate, I think. So the Eagles, I think, are kind of a tough team. Not necessarily a good team, but they're going to give you some problems, specifically in a division matchup. I do like Jalen Hurts. He's kind of the quarterback nobody's really talking about, but he's played very well so far this season. If the Cowboys can kind of win this game in a dominant fashion, I think that should give Cowboys fans a lot of hope. But I feel like the Eagles win this game somehow, and we get to continue the narrative that the NFC East is deplorable.
The first rounder, we were wrong, by the way. First rounder was for 2021, not for this one. So,
dang it.
Con Man's a Ravens fan, so he knows.
Dang it. But Washington football team, also in the NFC East, their defense, terrible.
Yeah, it does not look good.
It was supposed to be the best defense in the NFL, and it looks like the Giants' record right now.
I honestly, if there's anything I want to see from this game, if the Eagles are going to lose, I want to see Jalen Hurts be the leading receiver on this team. Like, when you're outside and you're playing football by yourself because you have no friends, and you're just like tossing it yourself and running. Yep. I want to see Jalen Hurts do that. If Aaron Rodgers, who, by the way, completed and caught his third pass of his career last night. Okay, so just saying, threw it to himself. I think that Jalen Hurts, I want to see him lead the passing, receiving, and rushing. I want to see that all. So
Jalen Hurts atop all the Eagles stats.
That's it. That's it. So I think the Cowboys do win this game, but I picked the Eagles just out of spite. It was pure out of spite.
Yeah. But Cowboys are favored by 4, so not a huge not a huge favorite. If the Eagles win tonight, you and Perna could wear shades, crowns, and smoke cigars on Clickbait Sports. The sunglasses should be mirrored.
Oh yeah,
I do like that.
Oh yeah,
I do like that.
I like it a lot. Folks, we appreciate the ever living heck out of you, Rodgers, Stafford.
Who do they play?
Rodgers is playing Steelers. They might have TJ Watt back. And by the way, it's with a D. And then the Rams, I don't know who the Rams are playing.
The Rams are playing the Cardinals.
Oh, the Cardinals.
I like Rodgers simply because I like Stafford because I think the Cardinals defense ain't that good.
I go Stafford, honestly. But
division games are always tricky though.
They are. That'll be a really fun game though. Oh man, NFC West is going to be heating up as well. It's going to be fun.
Oh yeah, we do need to just bring this up real quick. The Vikings exposing the Sea Frogs. There it is. Seattle, guess what? Here's what's the Week 1, we thought, okay, the Seahawks defense looks all right. We all know week 1, you can't take anything away from week 1, really.
You can't.
Seahawks defense ain't very good still.
Nope.
Russell Wilson should have got more of what he wanted. The Seahawks are going to be able to score some points. Russell Wilson's going to play good football. Tyler Lockett, one of the best in the league. But the Vikings, they got a lot of playmakers on offense too, and they did it without Dalvin Cook.
Yep.
They didn't even have one of the top 5 running backs in the league in this game, and they still put up over 100 rushing yards against Seattle. I think, was it Alexander Madison? Let me just look up the box score real quick.
Now, while you're looking at that too, because we did say we were going to talk about it. I want to talk about the Titans game super quick too. While you're looking that up, because the Colts Titans game, like I was watching bits of that. It was a bad game. Like that was an ugly ass football game. And yeah, at the halftime, I think it was like 14-10. And then Tennessee came roaring back in the fourth quarter. But like, look at these stats. Wentz, sorry. I'm gonna get copyrighted for music here. So Wentz, 19 for 37, 194 yards. The fact that he was even playing is insane.
2 bad ankles.
Yeah, 2 bad ankles. Taylor, 10 for 64, did a bit better. Hines, of course, is the TD vulture there. But Tannehill, 18 for 27, 197 yards, 3 touchdowns, 2 interceptions. Henry, 113 yards. Like, you look at this, and the Colts are now sitting at 0-3. Yeah. And I'm like, well, that defense, which was supposed to be real good, not looking so good. Jonathan Taylor having a tough time getting really anything going. He had a couple good runs yesterday. But Tannehill rushed for 56 yards against the Colts.
Yeah. And Quentin Nelson going down for the Colts on the offensive line. That's huge.
Oh, man. Dude.
I don't know how serious his injury is, but he was carted off, so probably serious. Colts
they're looking rough.
Looking to draft their next quarterback.
They're looking rough. They're looking rough.
And okay, Seattle, they allowed Alexander Madison to run for 112 yards against them.
That sounds like a Packers stat line.
Kirk Cousins threw for 323, 3 TDs, 0 picks, and the Vikings beat Seattle 30-17. It's just the Seahawks still aren't a balanced team. So they're probably going to finish in last place in the NFC West.
They could.
It's my guess.
And by the way, I just want to say, even though the Titans won that game, like they looked like crap too. Like they looked terrible for like 3 quarters. Like they didn't look good. And they were going against like Carson Wentz, who had no ankles, no Quentin Nelson. Like it wasn't good. It wasn't good.
The Titans have to have Derrick Henry basically just control the entire game.
It's like, I got you, buddy. I got you.
The Titans still aren't popular enough. If you Google search Titans, it still brings up movie references.
Remember the Titans
before you get to Tennessee. Yeah, I feel like it's the only NFL team that happens with.
Yeah.
Anyway, we made it to an episode.
We got over 2,800 people.
We almost hit 3K.
Next episode, hit that 3K. We were trying to hit the 2K. We hit the 2K, almost got to the 3K. It was we greatly appreciate you tuning in on Monday, 11 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Mountain Time.
The Colts should stop playing Wentz or they lose that high pick to Philly.
That's true.
Yeah. Put Wentz on the bench. Get yourself next year's quarterback.
That's it. But I think,
Tom,
looking ahead.
Streaming tonight?
Oh, I'll be streaming tonight. We got the NFC West vid is going to drop once I get some voice back. That's going to happen. AFC West will be tomorrow. Oh, I know. I know there's some anticipation for that one. And Wednesday, we will be back 11 a.m. Eastern, 9 a.m. Mountain Time to not only break down the Monday game, but to talk about the power rankings and which team Brandon Perna is going to curse with the number 1 spot. Because he did it with the Panthers, and look, the Saints weren't number 1. They win against the Patriots. So,
wow.
Just saying.
My power rankings.
I'm wearing a Vikings jersey because I lost
power rankings on earth.
That's it. I lost a bet on clickbait, and this was Brandon Perna's punishment from his patron. So thank you.
Oh, yeah. The Viking jersey. All right, guys. We'll see you Wednesday morning, hopefully.
I'm Tom Grossi. That's Brandon Perna.